Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday, July 26th City Council agenda meeting. I will now call to order our meeting. Pledge of Allegiance and invocation, if she chooses, will be by Councilwoman Hill.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hill. We have no special presentations this evening. Can I get a motion on the minutes, please? Do have a motion for the minutes. I do have a second. Without objections, the minutes will stand. On ordinances on final reading, Madam Clerk, planning item A. I can't. Try again. Try it now. Nope. We have a backup mic. Thank you, Chief. Try it.
Testing.
There we go.
Can't reach this one.
All right, let's try that out.
Yes.
Planning item A, take two.
In ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 1850 Newell Avenue from R1 residential zone to RTZ residential townhouse zero lot line zone, subject to certain conditions.
Councilwoman Knoll. Have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item B, Madam Clerk.
In ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone two unaddressed properties in the 300 block of North Highland Park Avenue from R3 residential zone to RTZ residential townhouse zero lot line zone.
Councilwoman Knoll. Have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Item carries. We have no ordinances on first reading. Under resolutions, council office, item A.
A resolution confirming the appointment of Randall Addison to the Head Start Board for District 1 with the term beginning July 26, 2022 and expiring July 26, 2024.
Councilman Henderson.
Move the appointment of Randall Addison to the Head Start Board.
Do hear a motion to approve and a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item B, please.
A resolution confirming the reappointment of Kay Baker to the Police Advisory and Review Committee for District 2 with the term beginning August 1, 2022 and expiring August 1, 2026.
Madam Clerk, would you please read C and D, and we will take all three as a package.
Item C, a resolution confirming the reappointment of Mary Ann Hensley to the Police Advisory and Review Committee for District 3 with the term beginning August 1, 2022 and expiring August 1, 2026. Item D, a resolution confirming the reappointment of Sylvester Harris to the Police Advisory and Review Committee for District 8 with the term beginning August 1, 2022 and expiring August 1, 2026.
Council? Have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Thank you for all those willing to serve on Park once again. Thank you. Under Economic Development, Madam Clerk, let's read item E by itself, and then we'll move on to a package further down.
Item E, a resolution authorizing the mayor or its designee to award up to $40,000 to Habitat for Humanity or Greater Chattanooga area to construct a house at 278 West 36th Street for affordable home ownership.
Madam Vice Chair.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve. I hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item carries. Madam Clerk, item F.
A resolution approving short-term vacation rental application number 18STVR00170 for property located at 1789 East 12th Street.
Councilwoman Knoll. Have a motion to withdraw. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion to withdraw carries. Madam Clerk, would you please read G and H as a package, please, without objection from council?
Item G, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a second agreement to exercise option to renew with the Forgotten Child Fund, Inc. in substantially the form attached to lease approximately 1,142 square feet of office space at 1715 East Main Street, identified as tax map number 156BD0114, an additional term of 3 months through October 31, 2022, for the rent of $1 per term. Item H, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a second agreement to exercise option to renew with the Forgotten Child Fund, Inc. in substantially the form attached to lease approximately 19,516 square feet of warehouse space at 1815 East Main Street, identified as tax map number 156BD009, for an additional term of 3 months through October 31, 2022, for the rent of $1 per term.
Councilwoman Knoll, these are both in District 8. Have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Items G and H carry. Madam Clerk, item I, please.
A resolution authorizing the exemption of the city of Chattanooga and its affiliated boards and commissions from certain procedures of the application process for tax increment financing when the city of Chattanooga and its affiliated boards and commissions initiate the TIF approval process, because the city of Chattanooga and its affiliated boards and commissions are seeking approval for tax increment financing related to the redevelopment of the South Broad District and following all procedures for tax increment financing required by the state of Tennessee.
Madam Vice Chair,
Move approval and ask for a roll call vote.
I do have a motion to approve. I do hear a second, and I have a request for a roll call vote. Madam Clerk.
Councilman Henderson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hill?
No.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Hester?
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Knoll?
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod? Vice Chair Dotley?
Yes.
Chairman Ledford?
Yes.
That's 8 yeses.
8 yeses. Item carries. Madam Clerk, item J, please.
A resolution of intent that, one, the proposed City of Chattanooga South Broad District Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project will provide necessary improvements to public infrastructure that the City of Chattanooga City wants to incur within the proposed time for the project, but does not currently plan to effect in the short term under its existing capital improvement plans, or has not fully funded under its existing capital plans. Two, the City Council will consider an economic impact plan prepared and submitted by the City of Chattanooga Industrial Development Board with aid from the City of Chattanooga's Department of Economic Development with respect to the South Broad District project. And three, the City Council authorizes the City of Chattanooga's Industrial Development Board to hold a public hearing related to the South Broad District Tax Increment Financing Economic Impact Plan.
Madam Vice Chair,
Move approval and ask for a roll call vote.
I do have a motion to approve with a second. And Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Coonrod? Councilwoman Knoll?
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs?
Yes.
Councilman Hester?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hill?
Yes.
Councilman Henderson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Dotley?
Yes.
Chairman Ledford?
Yes.
That's 9 yes.
Thank you. Item J passes. Under fire, would you please read K and L as a package?
Yes. Item K, a resolution authorizing the Director of Wireless Communications to execute a lease agreement for the Tennessee Valley Regional Communications System, TVRCS, with Coal Creek Ventures for a tower site located on Wind Rock Mountain in Anderson County for a term of 3 years, and with a monthly rental amount of $1,600 for years 1 through 3, with an escalating clause for years 4 through 9 as described herein, for a total of $57,600. Item L, a resolution authorizing the Director of Wireless Communications to execute a lease agreement for the Tennessee Valley Regional Communications System, TVRCS, with Coal Creek Ventures for a tower site located on Cross Mountain in Campbell County for a term of 3 years and with a monthly rental amount of $1,600 for years 1 through 3, with the escalating clause for years 4 through 9 as described herein for a total of $57,600.
Councilman Henderson.
Move to defer items K and L until August the 2nd.
I have a motion to defer for 1 week to August 2nd with a proper second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item is deferred. Under legal, Madam Clerk, item M, please.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement with Hamilton County, Tennessee to meet, study, and report to the City Council and the Hamilton County Commission related to the benefits of applying for a $750,000 grant from the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, to secure a new route from United or Frontier Airlines for travel to Denver, Colorado, and other destinations in the West, as well as Asia, and to provide for the joint funding and operation of this project in the amount of $150,000 each by the City of Chattanooga and Hamilton County, Tennessee.
I have Madam Vice Chair, followed by Dr. Burrs.
Move approval.
Have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item carries. Madam Clerk, would you please read items N through RR? And we'll take those as a package. I will request a roll call vote at the end of that.
Yes. Item N, a resolution to accept and approve the Chattanooga Reef and Relief and Recovery Allocation Plan. Item O, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with Ames Center, Inc. to develop supportive housing for an amount not to exceed $1.5 million. Item P, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with Chattanooga 2.0 for the Quality Matters Fund for an amount not to exceed $500,000. Item Q, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with the Chattanooga Housing Authority for James A. Henry School renovations and Head Start expansion infrastructure for an amount not to exceed $2 million. Item R, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with Chattanooga Neighborhood Enterprise for a purchase, rehab, resale program for an amount not to exceed $1 million. Item S, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with the Chattanooga School of Language for a language training initiative for first responders and support services for an amount not to exceed $45,000. Item T, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with the Community Foundation of Greater Chattanooga for an amount not to exceed $1 million. Item U, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with Community Haven for a violence interruption initiative for an amount not to exceed $1 million. Item V, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with the company CoLab to foster minority entrepreneurship through the Founders Fund for an amount not to exceed $800,000. Item W, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with Dynamo Studios for a mobile studio lab youth engagement initiative for an amount not to exceed $200,000. Item X, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with the Enterprise Center to expand the Ed Connect program for an amount not to exceed $1.5 million. Item Y, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with First Baptist Cares for a mental health outreach initiative for an amount not to exceed $250,000. Item Z, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with Greater Tucker Community Development Corporation to develop affordable housing for seniors for an amount not to exceed $1.5 million. Item AA, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with Kingdom Partners to develop affordable housing in partnership with faith-based organizations for an amount not to exceed $1.8 million. Item BB, and a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a sub-recipient agreement with Kingdom Partners to develop a youth mentorship network for an amount not to exceed $500,000. Item CC, a resolution authorizing the mayor, his designee, to enter into a subrecipient agreement with Kingdom Chess Group for the Choices with Chess Youth Mentorship Program for an amount not to exceed $150,000. Item DD, a resolution authorizing the mayor, his designee, to enter into a subrecipient agreement with Launch Chattanooga for a kitchen incubator initiative for an amount not to exceed $200,000. Item EE, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with LifeSpring Community Health for a mental health access initiative for pediatrics and families for an amount not to exceed $600,000. Item FF, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with Net Resource Foundation for an initiative to catalyze economic vitalization in the Alton Park community for an amount not to exceed $250,000. Item GG, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with Numa Ministries for early learning access expansion for an amount not to exceed $355,000. Item HH, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with Purpose Point Learning Academy for early learning access expansion for an amount not to exceed $750,000. Item II, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with the Pursuit of Happiness for underserved and under-resourced youth for a youth mentorship initiative for an amount not to exceed $500,000. Item JJ, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with Reach One, Teach One for the youth development program for an amount not to exceed $75,000. Item KK, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with Richmond Graduate University for a mental health diversity initiative for an amount not to exceed $200,000. Item LL, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with Rise Chattanooga for the Teaching Kitchen Initiative for an amount not to exceed $250,000. Item MM, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with Step Up on Second Street Inc. for supported services for an amount not to exceed $1.5 million. Item NN, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with the Urban League of Greater Chattanooga for the Family Prosperity Initiative for an amount not to exceed $1 million. Item OO, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with the Urban League of Greater Chattanooga for a capital investment for an amount not to exceed $500,000. Item PP, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with Volunteer Behavioral Health Care System for an initiative to expand mental health support in emergency departments for an amount not to exceed $175,000. Item QQ, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with World Changers for a home repair program for an amount not to exceed $60,000. Item RR, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a subrecipient agreement with the YMCA of Chattanooga to expand the YCAP program for an amount not to exceed $300,000.
Take a sip of water. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Council, do have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. Before we vote, I would like to take an opportunity to say thank you again to staff, especially Joda Tagnapnua, for thoroughly explaining and answering some very difficult and tough in-depth questions today. We were in session again at 10:30 this morning for about 4.5 hours to make sure that our questions were answered, and he didn't. I appreciate it very much, and I appreciate this council asking some very in-depth and thorough questions. Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Henderson? Yes. Councilwoman Hill? Yes. Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Hester?
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs?
Yes.
Councilwoman Knoll?
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod? That was 6E. C.
CC.
Yes. Vice Chair Dudley?
Yes, and I abstain from item FF.
Chairman Ledford?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Under Parks and Public Works, Item SS.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to execute change order number 1 for blanket contract number W01 019-002-201 sanitary sewer installation and repair at ISS and related facilities with Tally Construction Company, Inc. to extend the contract for 3 months and to amend certain unit price items due to supply chain increases.
Councilman Hester, please. Have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item carries. Purchases this evening. Who is presenting purchases? Mr. Goldberg? I believe we have 4 items.
Yes, sir. We have 4 items tonight. The first one's from Fleet Management Division of Public Works, new blanket contract for custodial services in fleet facilities. 3 bids were received and the award goes to Detail Experts. As the best bid meeting specifications, the low bidder, Metro Janitorial Services, Inc., was not considered due to past performance issues. This will be a 4-year contract with an annual amount not to exceed $44,000. Second item, Facilities Division of Public Works, requesting increased contract for elevator and lift inspection, maintenance, testing, and repair services in order to modernize older elevators. The vendor is United Elevator Services LLC, and the increased amount is $250,000 for a new annual amount not to exceed $390,000. And then the last 2 are both from Technology Services, request to extend contract for structured cabling services for 3 additional months. The 2 vendors are Integrated Networking Technologies LLC and Institutional Network Communications. No funds will be added, and the combined annual amount remains at $50,000.
Council, you've heard tonight's purchases. Have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. For those in the audience, purchases were sent out earlier this week. Council's had an opportunity to review them, ask questions, including today at our 3:30 session. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? There are no emergency purchases, Mr. Goldberg, or RFPs.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll now move into committee reports. Councilwoman Coonrod. Councilwoman Knoll. Dr. Burrs. Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did have our quarterly park report this afternoon in public safety, as well as a yearly report on our fire and police pension. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hill. Councilman Smith. Councilman Hester.
We did meet today, Parks and Public Works, and we'll meet again in 2 weeks.
Madam Vice Chair.
No report.
All right, we will move into other business this evening. Madam Attorney, I believe we have a short-term vacation rental appeal hearing.
We do.
All right. I think, Caleb, are you going to present?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Is the property owner here?
I will ask before Caleb gives his presentation if the applicant is present. Okay, I do have an applicant.
While that's being brought up, I'd just like to note that this is a different style of hearing than what you're used to. This is an appeal for a denial from the Land Development Office, not one due to neighborhood objections.
I'm ready when you are.
Need the presentation.
Do we have to start?
Caleb, if you
Do you
want to start the process while we're waiting for it to come up, I think we're all good with that.
Okay. So this application was submitted. It is an owner-occupied application, so the moratorium is not in effect on it. It was denied an intake review due to its location and zoning. It is not zoned R3 or R4, and it is located outside the overlay. So that makes it ineligible for short-term rental operation, therefore is denied. However, the applicant did choose to appeal the denial as code stipulates. And up in the presentation, there are the two sections that I wanted to note in the code stating, one, City Council hears the appeal to the Land Development Office, and two, the requirements for location and zoning concerning short-term rental eligibility. This is in District 6, well outside the overlay, and it is zoned R1. It's a partial house rental, so that only one room is available. The other two bedrooms and the kitchen are restricted. Would have a maximum occupancy of 4. And I had some pictures too, but
Any chance we're going to get those?
It's okay. Yeah.
If not, we'll move ahead with the applicant's response. Ma'am, you want to go ahead and come forward? Thank you. Thanks, Caleb. You want to go live?
First, let me say that I don't by any means know the legalities of the reasons these laws are put in place, but everyone knows what the economic crisis are, and especially the housing shortage in Chattanooga. I was forced to purchase a house unexpectedly. I am the sole person who takes care of someone who's in a wheelchair. In saying that, during the time that I was looking, there were 5 houses in Hamilton County that met her needs. When I removed the ones that I could not afford, it left me with 2 choices. That still put me out of my comfort zone as far as my budget. But talking to my real estate agent, she said, well, you do have an option of possibly doing a short-term rental out of your home to offset the cost of the mortgage. I had no idea at the time that there was any zones that would limit me to be able to do this. Now, where I am standing, I will be able to pay my mortgage, and that's going to be about it. So I hope that is taken into consideration. My house is very clean. The bedroom is fully equipped with a microwave, a refrigerator, a coffee bar, its own bathroom, its own closet. I just hope that everything is taken into consideration. I mean, your hands are kind of tied right now with the housing crisis that we're all facing. And again, if I had known this, then I don't know that it would even have made a difference in where I was purchasing, because there's nothing to purchase. So I just hope that that's taken into consideration.
Okay. Thank you. And Dr. Burrs, your light is active.
Ma'am,
Yes, I'm sorry.
hi. Have your real estate agent misled you?
Yes, she had no idea that there was actually, I used to be a real estate agent in Hamilton County. And I have spoke to several realtors, and none of them knew that there was such a zone.
So the problem here is that it's a matter of public record and has been for how many years? 4 or 5 years, that there are only certain districts where short-term vacation rentals of any kind are allowed. And I guess I have to ask Caleb, according to the law that you weren't able to show up there, this lady didn't meet any of the criteria to get a short-term vacation rental, correct?
she did not meet the location criteria, which is
For this property, which is all we're talking about,
correct.
did she or did she not meet any of the criteria to have a short-term vacation rental?
Not for not due to location and
The
zoning.
answer is no?
Yes.
All right. Because of the law, as it stands now, I have to move to deny.
I do have a motion to deny. I do hear a second. Questions or comments from council before we vote? Seeing no lights, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion to deny carries. We now come to the portion of our meeting where we recognitions of persons wishing to address the council. If you'd like to speak to the council this evening, please start to come forward. If you don't mind, under medical advice, we have asked for one person to stand at the podium at a time. If you'll just wait in your seat to make the next speaker. And if there's anyone who'd like to come, please go ahead and make your way now. And Madam Attorney, will you please read the rules for public comment as adopted by City Council?
Yes. Each speaker wishing to address the council shall be recognized only at the microphone provided for that purpose. The speaker may address the council only upon matters within the legislative and quasi-judicial authority of the council. Each speaker shall limit his or her remarks to 3 minutes unless permission for additional time is provided. The speaker shall not be permitted to use any vulgar or obscene language. The use of the floor by persons addressing the council should not be used to personally attack or personally denigrate others. The chair is prohibited from recognizing any person, neighborhood association, or organization to speak to the city council during the non-agenda matters portion of the agenda more than twice in any 30-day period. And persons will be allowed to address the council only once per day.
Does anyone wish to address council this evening?
Good evening, council. My
Yes,
name
sir.
is,
Good. Hang on one sec. I want to make sure you get all your time. Can we get
Okay.
3 minutes on the clock? And if you don't mind, would you please give us your name and district number? It helps us track items that we need to follow up on.
happily.
Thank you.
My name is Jeffrey Meldal. I'm in
There we go.
District 7. I'm also a representative of Caleb, Chattanooga's in Action for Love, Equality, and Benevolence. We've had the pleasure of working with many of y'all in the past on many different initiatives. And I understand at the earlier meeting today, discussing the stadium TIF and the South Broad District Plan, community benefits agreements were brought up several times. And I just wanted to alert the council to the fact we in the Economic Mobility Working Group of Caleb have been studying up on community benefits agreements since the Tubman site process, and we've been trying to position ourselves to be a useful aid to elected officials and the city in organizing a community coalition that could enter into an agreement with developers around community benefits. So I wanted to just go on the record and say that we are standing ready to help and advise and continue to educate ourselves and anybody else we can in the public or in government about the possibilities for community benefits. And we very strongly hope that we can get a robust understanding with the developers who are going to be working in South Broad about the specific community benefits, for lack of a better term, that we're hoping to see in that project and in major projects receiving city tax incentives, especially going forward. So please keep us all in mind while you are doing your diligence about this process. And we hope we can have a really great set of benefits again for the folks of Chattanooga who are putting their money forward to make this project happen. So thank you all for your time and have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone else wish to address council this evening? Council, I'm seeing no one coming forward. Have a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to do it. Perfect. I'll grab my camera. I'll be out there in like a couple of minutes. Okay, that sounds great. Perfect.
Nothing to do. Two very different things. You don't need a babysitter.